Alright, hello everyone. So welcome to the TPCC 4. So this is my next entry for Highway and Railway Engineering. So for today's chapter 5, so we will discuss the traffic signs and signals. So this will be divided into parts. So first, let us discuss the part 1 of the chapter 5, and these are the contents. We have to discuss the traffic signs, the meaning of it, the description of it, then the 6 categories of traffic signs, then its designs and specifications, then traffic sign shape specifications, color specifications, letter series, and letter spacing. So, and after this, once we discuss the design specifications, so we will discuss later on the two first categories of traffic signs, such as the regulatory signs and the warning signs. So first, let me tell you what will be our learning outcomes into this chapter. So at the end of the lesson, so you're expected to define what a traffic sign is and describe its purpose. Then familiarize the specifications and standards for traffic signs and signals by DPWH. So by the way, class, the DPWH standards is our basis for this lesson. No? So the DPWH stands for the Department of Public Works and Highways. So on the next learning outcomes, we have the compare the use and function of each category of traffic signs and signals. Okay, so let us define what is or what are the traffic signs. So it is known as a device mounted on a fixed support if we are talking about permanent signs, or portable support if it is a temporary signs, whereby a specific message is conveyed by means of words or symbols placed or erected for the purpose of regulating, warning, or guiding the traffic. So in the 6 categories of traffic signs, we have the regulatory signs, the warning signs, the guide signs or informative signs. Then we have signs for expressway, signs for special purposes, and lastly, we have the hazard markers. So what are the 5 basic requirements of road signs should meet? So the first one is we have to fulfill a need, then command attention, then convey a clear, simple message. So if once we try to put or let us say fabricate a traffic sign, it should be simple and it is easier for the driver or the motorist to conceive or perceive the idea of the instruction. Then we have to command respect and give adequate time for proper response. So let us discuss the design specifications. What are these design specifications? So based on our outline, first we have to discuss the shape. So on the first shape, we have the octagon. So the octagon is exclusively reserved for the stop sign. So the only sign or traffic sign that use this octagon shape is only the stop sign. Then we have the inverted equilateral triangle, which is exclusively reserved for giveway sign. So no other traffic signs aside from this one, only the giveway sign uses the inverted equilateral triangle. Then we have circle is for regulatory signs. So these are the following examples. Next, we have the equilateral triangle with one point at the top, which is different from the giveaway sign. The giveaway sign is reversed, so inverted, while this one is the base is at the bottom. So this type of shape is intended for warning signs. Then the rest, we have rectangle with long axis horizontal is for directional signs, service signs, roadwork signs, signs for special purposes, and supplementary plates for warning signs. Then we have rectangle. So there are 2 types of rectangle. We have rectangle with long axis at the horizontal, and the other one is at vertical. So the horizontal is from the previous one, Then we have this vertical, which is intended for information signs, instruction signs, guide signs, and destinations of point of interest. Then we have this pentagon for school and crossing and other pedestrian signs. So this one, this pentagon shape serves as a warning signs. Now these signs also are also used for regulatory signs, but the shape of this one is not pentagon, it was circle. Anyway, we will discuss that one later on. Then we have the sizes. So the minimum dimension depend upon the application. So the letter size selection will be based on section 1.7.3. So to tell you what class, the sizes will be varies accordingly to the visibility and the distance that you intend to make the sign visible. No? So if you make the sign larger or bigger, so you're making that one for the purpose of make the sign readable in the farther distance. While if you use a smaller size, so that will be you intend that one for near, no, shorter distance. Okay, so the sizes will be varies accordingly in such categories such as nashay, small, medium, and large. No, okay. Then we have the color specifications. As we know that colors class has a variety of theme, or sometimes we will based upon the length of the wavelength of the colors. So the longest wavelength of all the colors on the ROHIBITIVE is the red. So that is why red is used as a background for stop signs, as border color on gateway signs, warning signs, and prohibitive signs in the regulatory type. Because the red class, it symbolizes caution or danger. So that is why the red is very ideal to use that one as a warning, no? To give warning on the motorist. Then we have the black, which is used as a legend color for signs having white, yellow, orange, fluorescent yellow, green background, and as a chevron for hazard markers. Legend, what we mean by legend, it is used for fonts, for some text, or color for the symbols. No? So that is what it meant by legend here. So next is the yellow, is used as a background color for roadwork signs. Then white is for background color for most signs, and legends for some colored background. So next is we have fluorescent yellow-green, is used as background color for signs related to pedestrian movement, school zones, and roadwork hazard markers to give additional emphasis and guidance to vehicle operators. Then we have fluorescent orange, is used as background color for roadwork signs whose legends relate to personal working. So if we have signs intended for personal working, so we will make use of fluorescent orange. Then we have green, is used as background color for direction signs. Blue is used as a background color for service signs, and brown is this reserved as background color for all tourist facility directional and information signs. Then we have to discuss the letter series specifications. So there were 6 letters and numerals being used in signs from A to F. So the series A and B is intended for moving vehicles. As we know that, as you might all know, that the series A and B is more likely, they have only little difference. So that is why they are grouped into one. So we have the series A and B. Then we have series C, which is thicker compared to the two series. So this series C is intended for special cases of traffic signs. Then we have series D and E, commonly used because it provides best legibility and aesthetics when it comes to traffic signs. So in most common use, the series D and E are used as the ideal font, no, for the text, especially in directional signs and information signs. Then we have series F, not often used on large signs due to the wide space requirement. So to make us realize what are this style of this letter series, so let me introduce to you that this one is the letter series A. So if you might notice, this series or the type of font is quite thinner and compact, no? Then we have series B, which is a lot more thicker from A. Then we have series C, as you might notice the difference from A to C. Okay, so it's starting to get thicker. Then the width is also become wider. Then we have the series D, the series E, and lastly we have the series F, which is the not commonly used type of letter series because of its width and thickness. So since it is thick and wide, so it requires a larger spacing. So we have to avoid a larger font using from this one is because the sign might become bigger, no? Okay. So the three steps of spacing for capital letters and numerals. So there are three types of spacing. We have the narrow, medium, and the wide. So for lowercase letters, use always a wide spacing. So if you are given an identification of what type of letter size that you are going to use on a traffic signs, so if you are given an indicator such as 160 dm, it means that the 160, it tells us to make use of the 160 millimeter size, and the D series is the letter series that you are going to use, and the type of spacing, it should be a medium spacing. So that is what it meant by 160 dm. So D is for series D letters, then M is for medium spacing. Okay, what about 90 LC? 90 means 90 mm. Then you have to make use of L. LC means that you have to make use of lowercase and wide spacing. Of course, if you make use of lowercase, you have also to make use of wide spacing. So now let us discuss what are the regulatory signs and what is regulatory signs. So I don't have the definition for the regulatory signs, but let me tell you that regulatory signs are intended for signs to control the traffic, to manage the traffic, and it more likely tells the motorist how to make use of the space or the road, no? Okay, it also tells some specifications or conditions when it comes to using the traffic. So such as the following. So we have classifications of regulatory signs. We have priority signs, then we have direction signs, prohibitive and restrictive signs, then we have speed signs, parking signs, and miscellaneous signs. So let us discuss what are the priority signs. So the priority signs are these three, no? The only three priority signs. We have the stop sign, the give way sign, and we have the left turner must give way. Then we have the direction signs. So this type of signs is quite confusing if we think about the directional signs. So if we say this type of arrows, it means that it tells you the other way around. An arrow pointing upward, it means that we have to make no turns. Then we have, if going to the right arrow, so that is one way. Then we have, if we have a diagonal arrow, we have to keep right. Then if we have going to the right arrow, which is a curving, then it means that all traffic, no, must going in one direction. Then if we have an arrow with a segment attached to it, it means that you have to do a merging traffic, no? Okay. So next is we have prohibitive and restrictive signs. So this type of signs are more likely no entry signs. So you can tell that these are no entry signs if you have a diagonal red bar that you can see on, which is overlaid on some symbols. So such as this one, we have a symbol of a car. It means that you have no entry for cars. Then this one, we have jeepney, so we have no entry for jeepneys. So by the way, so this type of sign class, it means also as no entry for any type of vehicle. Okay, we have prohibitive and restrictive signs. Okay, so some of the traffic signs, it might give you signs that is in this shape, but some signs are also displayed as rectangular shape, but also the text is included. So in some cases, class, that some motorists has difficulty of understanding the symbols. So that is why it is good also to include the text or the caption, what it means by the symbol. Okay. So this type of symbols, class, as you might see, this type of symbols are turning prohibition signs. So next is we have speed signs. We have not exceed 60 kilometers. Then if we have 100, it means 100 kilometers per hour maintain speed maximum. So next, we have parking signs. So there are many types of parking signs, which is also specified some rules. The no parking means papatayin mo yung engine, so it means nagpa-park ka. Pero kung naka-under pa yung engine, meaning to say naka-idling ka lang, no? So the idling is different from parking. So waiting lang yan, no? Waiting lang yung idling. Okay. So next, okay, these are some other parking signs. So he's using the green, but actually this one is quite the opposite, no? So the green should be the background. So the only legend colors are black and white. Okay. But this one is quite the inverse color, you know. Dapat green itong background na to. Tapos yung text, yung kulay ng text niya dapat naka-white or black. Okay. So the rest we have, okay, no waiting time. So these are also included, no? So these are another parking and loading signs. Then we have no waiting and no loading signs. Then we have no parking and public utility vehicles stopping signs. Okay, then we have the do not block intersection. So this sign is indicated in most intersections, no? It's because of to avoid the vehicles to idle in the middle portion of the road. So to avoid the congestion. Okay, next is we have miscellaneous signs such as this one. So it means that we have no blowing of horns. Then we have 2 meters with restriction. So meaning to say we're talking about horizontal clearance, that is 2 meters. Then we have 3.5 meters. It means that vertical clearance is 3.5 is allowed. Okay, then we have 5 tons. Okay, weight limit. Then we have trailer must have 2 tons. Then we have buses must have, or let us say vehicle must have at least length of 10 meters. Okay, we have a sign that is indicated on the inner portion of the vehicle. So we have to fasten the seat belt, or in outside portion of the road. Then we have this pedestrian signs, which is intended for regulatory signs. Okay. Then we have the bike lane and the PWD lane. Okay. So next, let us discuss the warning signs. So these signs are used to warn motorists of potentially hazardous conditions on or adjacent to the road. So the warning signs advise motorists of road conditions that require caution and may call for a reduction in speed in the interest of safety and that of other road users. So the warning sign should not be used when drivers can observe and appreciate the potential hazard ahead under normal conditions. Okay, so in most case scenario, class, that the warning signs are intended to warn the motorist ahead. So we have classifications of warning signs. So, the warning signs, some of these are horizontal alignment signs, intersection and junction signs, advance warning and traffic control device signs, then road width signs, road obstacle signs, pedestrian and school signs, railway level crossing, supplementary signs, and other warning signs. So, we have the horizontal alignment signs to say that we are talking about the curbs. It warns the motorist that there is this type of curvatures in the portion of the highway that he is going to enter. Then we have intersection and junction signs. Now, this warns the motorist that on ahead of the road, there is an intersection. So, it will give an idea to the motorist of the possible danger of colliding of someone's vehicle, just like a merging traffic, no? Okay, then we have advance warning of traffic control device. So it means that it warns the motorist that there is a traffic sign ahead, traffic regulatory signs. So next, then the road width signs, it means that if there is a road ahead which is there is a changing of the width, so it will warn the motorist that there is a bottleneck ahead, no? Or let us say the change of width, in order to give the idea of the motorist of let us say to avoid any inconveniences in the road, no? Okay, so if we have also the narrow bridge. Okay, let us say for example, if you are traveling on a 4-lane road, then on the ahead portion of the road, we have the 2-lane road, no? Okay, so let us say the bridge is only 2 lanes, then what you are traveling is 4 lanes, so it will warns you to avoid at the outer lane. So you must proceed at the inner portion of the road so that you may travel safely or enter the 2-lane road, no? Okay, so the other portion, or let us say the outer lane, will begin to enter into a bottleneck, no? Okay, so next is we have the road narrows, is somewhat similar to narrow bridge. Okay, this portion we have the divided road, so which is the opposite of this one. So the divided road, it will warns the motorist that there is an island or dividing, or let us say median at this portion. Then we have the end of the divided road. Okay, next we have the road obstacle signs, so such as the following. Okay, it will warns the motorist that there is a possible obstacle on the road, no? Okay, so you might try to familiarize this type of signs. So I might give you a it might give you, okay, so I don't like to spoil anything, no? Okay, next we have pedestrian and school signs. Okay, so this type of signs are intended for to give warning signs to the motorist that there is a pedestrian. So once a motorist will enter a pedestrian, so they should have to slow down. So what is meant by here? So it means that you have to slow down in pedestrian. Okay, slow down. It's because there is a pedestrian crossing ahead. So next, we have to slow down. It's because there is a wheelchair crossing, or we have a bike lane ahead. So the portion likely, or let us say the intention of the warning sign is more likely to warn the motorist to slow down, no? To slow down or to be cautious enough for the incoming road ahead. Okay. Next, we have the railway level crossing. So this one is intended for if you are crossing on the intersection of a railway and the road. Then we have a supplementary signs that is intended for I think it will be for private areas, or let us say in some buildings or small areas, small street areas, or local roads, something like that. Okay. Then we have other warning signs, which is intended for vertical clearance. Then we have for accident-prone area. Then we have to slow down for merging traffic. Then the rest, no? Okay, so that's the end of the chapter 5 part 1, no? Okay, so we will continue on the next part of the chapter 5. Okay, so if you have questions and clarifications, so you might comment or message me, no? Okay, so that's all for today. So I hope you learned something. So watch out for the next entry for the chapter 5, the part 2 of the chapter 5. So thank you. Bye-bye.